where nobody noticed.
Okay.
And we
So let's
started.
start.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. Oh, let me start first.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to
Yep.
DevKami number 175, which is of course a factor of 5. I know I'm just a magnet. So
I'm Chilliam.
I am
I'm
Tristan.
swimming. Yes,
Let's
and I'm
get it.
swimming. By the way, it's the long holiday thing. Way
Are
too
you on leave
long.
today?
No,
I
actually,
am.
I am on leave
I know
today.
a
I
On
few,
took the
leave,
leave
but I'm
today and
supposed to get.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm
quite
supposed
a
to get
number
some
of
work
people
done.
actually.
Anyway,
Quite a number of people actually take leave, except me. I find it too. It's a bit too
too
long for some
plebeian.
reason.
Uh,
No. I got a
So
lot
rest
of
yeah,
for the
things
day.
done because of the long weekend. So I got my visa sorted out, my license, my credit cards, my bank accounts, like everything that was expiring. Like I just
oh
did
yeah,
everything like today and yes and probably tomorrow to get things done. So it's quite good. After a vacation, then do some errands that are not work related, and then by Monday, everything's all good.
cool. So with that said, let's start with our bus corner. It's a holiday. I tend to just sleep. In my case, actually build my Gundam models. Okay, it's
Yeah,
all over the place.
you have to show us that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I will show you guys after this. After this. So first one, there'll be a Rust meetup
Oh, after a long
next
time.
week. But before that, this weekend there will be a Python meetup. Hey, was it
Is it?
this weekend or next weekend? Crap. It's da, 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 da. Oh, it's next week. It's next
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. My bad. So the first one is actually Rust meetup. Then
Mm-hmm.
after that is Tech Up. Then there's a Python meetup that I'm doing at night just
Mm-hmm.
because. So yeah, events. So that being said, let's go to different thing which is not organized. Let's start. So the first one is remember that GitHub asked us to
Yeah,
put
they invalidated their tokens.
correct. So in this case, it's because of it started from Heroku, and Heroku now admits that there is an attack, and
Oh,
so yeah, now they're
there was internal data that was leaked or something.
You
correct,
know, I
correct.
received an email. Like I have to. I actually not sure. It's from Salesforce.
Because
Salesforce
They
is
say
Salesforce,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
bought
they
Heroku.
it's like it's just a notice that they reset the passwords
Mm-hmm.
of
correct,
my
because and
account.
also Heroku is owned by Salesforce,
No, Salesforce
so
Interesting.
owns. Yeah, Salesforce owns Heroku.
it's a whole chain lah. So this is the same news by Theo Holman, which I think is a bit of a mess up. So I'm going to move on. So this one is interesting because, as it turns out, there's this Open Mainframe project. So Open Mainframe project, a lot of it is about Linux and all that. But as it turns out, they also have COBOL courses, and also very interesting because what I think the link to is VS Code, but you actually, I believe they. Okay, so here's something that is not clear to me. Whether the implementation is on Linux or the Z machine, Z series mainframe, or actually run on the Z OS itself. This is what not clear about. But Open Mainframe Project is a organization that actually try to bring in mainframe into the wider world. So yeah, uh, so in short, if you go through you can access actual mainframe remotely and learn something along the way. Maybe you get rich. If you get rich, I want some I hope you guys can donate to DevKami somehow. But that's it. Interesting project because, like it or not, this dinosaur won't die. We tried, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it runs. It runs your bank account.
yes. But this, well, joking aside, uh, this initiative is good because, like it or not, these things still running, and we need people to
And
run
I would
these.
say is that it's not really the fault of Cobol. It's just that the undocumented behavior of those
Correct.
integration.
Correct.
And there are over the years there are a lot of integrations and layers of third party
Yeah,
vendors working on
Correct.
and
providing the
it's like
features.
your house basically.
Yeah,
That
Correct.
you've had a lot of plumbing, all of these things, and so if you think that adding a third story to a two-story house is easy, yeah, well, you probably have never
yeah.
added a third-story house to your house before because, yeah,
Correct.
you have to redo all of these things that have been working for a long time. It's stable, but it's just so many integrations, so many things that depend on it that it's quite difficult to redo all of these things from the beginning.
Correct. So, but either way, look at this. I find this interesting, not just because of my previous career, but it is what it is lah. Very interesting stuff inside here. So next, I'm going to move on. Yeah, they even have a summit, but we're going to move on. We're going to move on. This one. So Facebook, aka Meta, aka Facebook, actually, is the other way around. They're releasing a GPT size model to be used. Training is still big, actually. It's still pretty big. I still take a few GPU to train, but it's a model that you can use for your own reason. So you can use it to take over the world or make friend. Wait, I received a
Take over the
message.
world.
This is not what people mean by making friends. Okay, serious on the more serious note. So this is yet another language model, which is good because you need more language model to use than less of it. So yeah, the PDF is too slow. So the TLDR is a new model, very capable, reasonably a lesser carbon footprint compared to the current big models. Yeah, and it's released free to be used. Anything to add?
Nice.
If not, I'm going to move on.
No,
So there's new book called Software Engineering at Google. It's about practice at Google and all that. Interesting if you want to know how Google do the work. My opinion is just be careful about big boys problem because
Yeah.
not all
Good
problems
to read
apply to you.
it's good to read their struggle and see things are it's okay to have problems. It's
Yeah,
just how we solve them.
correct. Learn from them, but do not blindly adopt them. That's my thing lah. Next one. Finally, Atlassian released post-incident review, but before that, there's a comment by George Lee. He wrote Pragmatic Engineers. So what happened is they're hiding actual impacted numbers, and yeah, there is more than that, but they do release a post-mortem lah. A lot of those are about policy and information disclosure. So notice that they were talking about communication gap, system warning, and all that. So the reason for that is the ID being passed is different. Different that is expected. So the sales team, I believe, is giving the system ID, whereas to delete you need the actual client ID. So what happened now is that they'll implement soft deletes across the system and accelerate DR program. And yeah, so this is the reason why you have soft delete in your application. You don't delete all from something in SQL. You would like update something as deleted. So the reason is for this reason, so that it's easier to recover, right? But here's the main thing here they need to learn about is about communication as well, instead of just the technical side. So what do you think? Anything that I missed?
Yeah.
no.
Good
It's
to
just
read
that
and
when you're doing soft delete, you need to think about what it means for soft delete and GDPR, like
Correct. So something you
because
need
now you're
to
not really deleting things, right? So it becomes a
correct.
problem, and yeah,
Yes.
I mean GDPR makes things complicated, but Now you really have to think about these things as well.
Correct.
Yeah, we
correct.
used to just flag things as deleted,
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
but there's no soft delete anymore.
Yes. So this is a buzz in the Python community recently. So now you can run Python on HTML.
Yeah,
But
wire wasm.
this okay. Yes, I think. Or what's the difference between Py or that? Yeah, it is port to WebAssembly, and Imscripted. Imscripted means it's WASM lah. So in short, so this is actually a bad example. There's a better example. Let me pull it out. This is actually a very bad example. They got better example here. It's actually slash examples, right? Damn it. Let me pull from the Python side. I know because
So how big is the wasm to? Let me try it out.
yeah, there is. I need to find. This is so hard to. Here you are. Share this. One of the member is not impressed, but in reality, it's not. Yeah, here you are.
High school.
So, the reason here is because it have linked to examples. So, PyScript had all the on top thing. Then Paradise here with wasn't on top. So, but here you are. I find it a bit. It can be heavy
Let's
at
see how
times, to
big
be
it
honest.
is. Does it run all of the modules, or what is the limitation?
Give me a moment. This is very slow, but here's the. It's still loading. It used to be fast, but I think it's possibly because I'm running multiple things. So how do I see the size for this?
I'm
Developer
doing it.
tools.
I'm
Okay.
it.
So I'm going to show you the page source. So in short, there is no change for matplotlib in here. So they're not outputting to a JSON and do some magic as image.
How did it import the libraries?
So notice that
Where did it come from?
PyEnv here, there's this directive. This is the equivalent of setting up the dependencies.
Yeah, but where is it from? Like, it's from the file system, or was it?
I suspect it might. I suspect it might be actually.
Okay.
As I say, a lot of things not too clear to me because.
Yeah, I mean, was it dynamically imported, or is it coming from the same distribution? Like, you have to download the Matplotlib enabled wasm something, because it's part of it's like you know how MicroPython does it, right?
Correct, but in this case, they use this thing. Okay, what they claim, what PyDeck claim is a C Python implementation, meaning it's not modified. This what's the claim, right? This was the claim. So in this case, you see here, any pure Python package with a view is supported. Many C extensions also be ported with PyDeck because Mscripton actually does emulate some of the C code, right? So in this case, it is ported.
So
it's
so
close. I would say at least very close.
So not all C extensions. So Matplotlib being a very common package probably has been ported, and so it comes with the distribution. But something like your custom C enabled extension or something, you'll have to jump hooks in order to do that. Okay, I understand.
Correct.
Yeah, probably pure C is easier because it's just purely from the interpreter.
Correct, precisely.
Sorry, pure Python. Pure Python is easier.
Correct.
It's from the interpreter.
So, correct. So they do have a TypeScript component to actually render things, but as much as possible, they try, and I find that interesting. Honestly, I do not believe this will replace JavaScript, and that's reasonable. But let's say you do have
it's actually
script.
Yeah, it just open up the for other people to have their favorite language.
Correct. Which, in my opinion,
go back to the old days of of
CGI.
having different snippets like Java snippets,
Correct, correct,
implements.
correct. So yeah, interesting. It probably won't change the world, to be honest, even though I like Python, but it is what it is. So I find it, yeah. It also might be interesting if you want to share. So the data science people is heavy on sharing result. So if this can run scikit, scipy, numpy, and all that, yeah, that's a big win for them. So they don't
I
have
don't
to
know. I
build.
have a mixed feeling about that because you can, I think like notebook you can run it on a beefy machine, but you
Yes,
can save the result to be shown anyway.
correct.
You didn't, yeah. But of course, if you want to, there is this option right now.
Yeah, correct. So I think the Tab A demo is a bit cheating because Tab does return JSON. I'm going to move on quickly because otherwise we're going to drag too long. So yeah, Uber SRE is software reliability engineering. So they found an organization inside it. I'm not sure if I will read this Phoenix project in order to
You
actually
know,
build a
it's a
DevOps tool.
parody of how a bad organization work,
Yeah.
how a bad project like lingers on
Yes.
and not being able to be completed.
Yeah. So either way, as I have a team, so they will probably share their practice and all that, and we're looking forward to it. Again, big batch problem, but you may learn something along the way. So yeah. Uh, so this is new and not very. This is new to me, and I didn't test it. Microsoft Edge now have VPN built into the browser, right? Microsoft built VPN into Edge, and they actually partnered with Cloudflare to bring the service lah. I think this is their 111 service, right? Their warp service, right? Possibly.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
it's
related to that.
yeah,
Then it's also go in full circle with the zero trust tunneling
yep,
thing,
correct,
which sort of
correct,
like go into
correct. So move on. Final one. One of our friend will be rich, but let's give and some of our other friend maybe as well because access are grab. So let's start. So the Malaysian government choose 5 applicants for digital bank license, meaning this will be the actual banks. So they're actually legal.
So how is a digital bank different from like the usual bank? Like for example, Maybank, I can access their digital banking service, right? Is this does this mean that it's purely just digital?
you get him.
Yeah. What would you know, Chilion?
I think it's a purely digital bank, like where the account and everything is done
So they
through
don't.
digitally. They don't
So if
have
I
a
want
branch
to
to
open,
do it.
so if I have to open a bank account, it's like when I open Big Pay, for example. Like they just
Yeah.
ask me to send like a passport, a scan of a passport, and then they did the KYC, like take a picture, take to the left, and then say
Yeah.
numbers and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But what makes Big Pay different from this digital bank license?
It's that mostly it's involved the full blown banking services, including loans.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Loans and
Loan
possibly like
investment. Yeah.
yeah, investments, and then they have interest on
Yeah.
your deposits, right? Hmm. Yeah, that kind of opens up a lot of opportunities for the
So
unbanked.
under that link is that to yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah. So.
Boost is doing Boost is doing it with HB Bank,
Mhm.
and GXX Bank is actually GSX is a
Testing.
consortium of Grab and Singtel consortium.
I
Yep.
see.
Yeah,
So they're
and
partnering with actual banks, probably
actual
to
bank.
minimize
You can
risk,
see
right?
yeah, something like a bank, not really a bank. Like C Group is partnering with YTL. and
Mm-hmm.
like the Grab one is Singtel, and then
Mm-hmm.
Annual Credit is doing it with is Money Lion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Money Lion
But
is been doing it with in US anyway.
yeah. So they're partnering with to minimize risk and also to get like best practices, like figure out what actually
Yeah,
works
for
for people,
yeah.
like sort of
And
the
because
know-how
actually
tech transfer.
some of those people actually do have the relationships and all that, so
Hmm.
legal and whatnot.
Yeah,
So it's easier, like it's a lot easier to do this.
that would be good.
So
Uh,
just so
it
you
will
know,
be also interesting for like, because like let's say you have Stashaway, which is not a bank, but you have like all of these investments as well. That would be
correct,
Mm.
interesting to have, like, okay, I'll open up an account, I transfer money without even facing someone,
correct.
like
So yeah,
like with a cashier or a teller.
yep. So final one. This is something I discovered as it turns. So in advent of code, one of the things that I often have to do is to create a vector, right? Create a vector, of, and vector that I do is like is a two-dimensional vector, but you cannot use this fully on advent of code because in advent of code, sometimes they give you like a five-dimensional vector, so you can't always use that directly. But two-dimensional vector is already there, and here's the cool thing: uh, dot cross product is something that I do in advent of code. Magnitude, same thing. And here's another thing. Notice that in some year in advent of code, you have
You have to
to
make the
get the
text larger if you want to us to see that. Assuming.
oh, so you also get coordinates and
Yeah,
and degree.
and
Didn't
some
you
So
change?
huh?
Are we changing the font size? Because I still can't read the
Really?
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, due to
wrong
too
tab.
small for us, and
Wrong
and
tab.
I think the thing in advanced of code is also distance measuring between
Hmm.
Correct.
points.
So oh, too big, too small, just enough.
Yeah, it's good enough
Well,
lah. This
I've
is good
seen.
enough.
So you see, you can get distance, which we already did. Distance squared. Then
Yeah, we don't
rotation.
need the Euclidean distance. We just need the Manhattan distance for.
Yeah, but I mean, part of the challenge of advent of code is about implement this ourselves. It's fun, but if you're too lazy, I'm just saying that Pygame have this function.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pygame have this
Also,
function.
by the way, for people who are listening, like, what's the difference between Euclidean and Manhattan distance, and why is it called Manhattan distance?
Yeah,
Because it's in Manhattan.
no,
So
it's
because it's blocks, right? Manhattan, when it
yep,
was like,
correct,
how do you say, designed, not designed, but planned. The city plan is in blocks. That's why you have like these grid like layout.
correct. And in advent of code, it's a lot easier to. It's implied that those representation are done in blocks, not in points. So as a
Mhm.
result,
And
it's
so
easier to
when you
just
do a Manhattan distance, then like it's basically going through the streets and not going diagonally. So the distance is
correct,
different. So it's like going up and then right. It's basically you're like playing logo with just like
correct,
the four cardinal directions.
Yeah. It's
correct,
by movement. By if assuming that you are walking, you need to walk those blocks
Hmm.
correct. So with that
instead of
said,
flying over the buildings. It's not a
Yeah,
field.
correct,
Like
that's the
correct,
Euclidean. Well, yeah,
yeah,
Euclidean distance, assuming that it's from a map and not you're not doing it over a globe, because the
yeah.
distance
yep,
is also different in that kind of projection.
correct. So today, first thing first, because no reason. Actually, there's multiple reason. It's cool, but what the hell? Remember that we actually talked about group buying stuff from Seed Studio.
Yeah, group
It's
buying
here.
wedgies.
So it's
I
here,
heard it's a
except
very
there is okay. Actually, I split it up into different packet. Right, this Tristan's, this is me and Sam's, but I actually bought some extra stuff. Extra stuff. I did not program it yet, just so you know. I did not program it yet. So, first thing I want to show. So this is the blah, blah, blah. Can you read it? Are you blur? Okay. So this is the original xiao, all right? So why is xiao? Because it's small in Chinese, Mandarin actually. In Cantonese it will be xiu, and in you get the idea. In there's multiple Chinese is actually multiple language forced into one because we got egomaniacal people that decide to become an emperor of China. Long story. So this is the original cell, and you probably can't see the chipset. This is actually made with at AT 7051, right? Let me open up a new tab again. Open up the spec. So blah blah. Okay, here you are. I'm going to again switch tab while showing my screen again. So see it, right? So this is the one. The reason I opened this is because I want to show you the spec.
Is this the one? I don't.
This is the one that I bought. This is the one that I bought for myself.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Mm-hmm,
So this is the 7021, which actually can do some machine learning, I believe. Can it?
I think I have that as well.
Yeah. So I'm lazy, so I get the pre-sorted version, and because I'm lazy to add the daughter board and all that, so I also buy this. What this will do in the future is this thing here will be part of sensor project. This thing can run MicroPython. And it
So
can
this
do
will be
Arduino.
your new AA sensor.
Yeah, correct. Unfortunately, I thought it would be cheap, but it's not, and the reason is because of the taxes. So even a group buy, it still costs us.
How much? Yeah, in
So
percentage.
okay, so it's 500 plus ringgit, but it charged us 109 ringgit of tax.
So total of 600 to pay for it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So
600 ringgit for like.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just
They got
that,
used to
just
not being charged any taxes, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So notice that this thing actually had an extra pin. This for programming. This is actually connect to the Pogo. This is actually connect to the. Oh no, this is actually to the power. So that the Pogo pin is something connect to the battery, so that you can use the battery connector here to power this thing directly, which I find very interesting. So the reason why I want this, other than the fact that I'm lazy, because they had the JST connector, SD card, batteries, that you can have the JST battery connector and all that, and OLED. So this is a full solution. If I do it without taxes and all that, this potentially can be a very cheap form of the sensor that compared to what we do a few years back. Because a few years back we used the M5 stack, which is very easy to use, but very expensive. This one can potentially be cheap enough if Citron still have stock. So the most expensive thing will be the sensor itself.
You can buy this at DigiKey, you know.
Oh yeah, DigiKey have it, right? And that will be cheaper because they will have stock. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
So let me just quickly find that one because I was looking at it, but they don't have the what do you call this? A BLE, which is why I wanted to go for the
correct. So yeah.
So they have the what do you call this? The Xiao, which is the one that you have, right? What is this? The ARM Cortex M0, the SAMD 21G18, basically. So they have that, and they have the Doctor board as well. I'll give you the links in a bit. Just go there.
Yeah.
So the expansion board is 70 ringgit.
Yeah.
And the Cduino Xiao is 30 ringgit. So 90 ringgit in total for both.
Yeah. and it's still actually cheaper than the M5 stack, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give you the links
Yep.
on
But
private
the
chat. Well,
reason,
how do you want it?
yep, this is not the reason why I get this. The real reason why I group buy things with Tristan and the gang is because, wait, did I open the wrong thing? Give me a moment. Oh no, I opened the right thing. The real reason why I actually group buy with Tristan is because nobody have stock of this guy. This mine, so it's fine to open. This one again is in the Xiao form factor because it's so small. This one is actually the BLE sense.
Yeah, what
The
does
one
Xiao mean?
small
Small. So Xiao is
Mandarin.
small.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is interesting to me because of tiny ML. To be honest, it's only tiny ML. And more importantly, they have onboard sensors. So
Mm-hmm.
they have microphone, they have IMU. So, and because this thing is a thumb size, I don't think it's thumb size. So this is the perfect size for a Magic One project, right? So you can, so for a Halloween project, so I can have a one with gesture to turn on different part of the clothing or whatnot, for example. So because of the IMU, and you have, and actually, if you look at example for, remember last week we talked about the detector, we can potentially build with this because they have a microphone on it.
But is it uh like is the sampling enough for the microphone to
Good
detect
enough
the
actually.
sound?
I'm going to show the demo they have, which is the reason why I think it's good enough. Let me find the spec first. This is the demo, but you can't hear the sound.
Why can't you hear the sound?
I do not know how to pipe the sound. I do not know how to pipe the sound to hear.
Oh, but you have to share the entire screen, I think.
Really?
Or are you
And
using Linux?
yeah,
I guess that yeah, maybe it's not working on Linux.
yeah. So I don't understand how to do that. But that being said, okay, I can't find the spec for the microphone. Okay, here you are. It's a PDI microphone. So it's digital microphone, so you can actually adjust it as you need it. La 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 la.
You have to share the Chrome tab. Sorry,
Oh,
so
okay.
if you share the Chrome tab, not just the window, then it will share the
Okay.
you have share audio.
Right. Okay. Never mind. So in short, the demo shows that it works lah. That's a TLDR lah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a digital microphone, so it'll be pretty good in theory. So and actually, Tiny ML application known to work with worse worse type of microphone. It's machine learning after all, so it possibly usable. It's possibly usable. So yeah, this is why I'm interested actually. So it's just one of those things. Maybe I can finish it in time for Halloween this year. Why I do not know. Okay, so yeah, this is the real reason. So as you can see, this is this is not soldered, so I had to do it myself. But I'm just very impressed that this thing can run the neural network. You know, my usual thing, modus operandi. But that being said, the NRF52 is a very popular chipset in the way that you can do Bluetooth on it. That's the whole big thing, which is why Tristan had some extra one that don't actually have the sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind I open one?
No, I don't. It's the same size anyway. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I just want to show. I just want to show
Yeah.
that there's no sensor on board.
Sure.
It's the same size, but okay.
It's the same size. It's also a bit cheaper,
Yeah,
but
because they don't have
it's
the onboard
just
sensor.
you don't
That's
need
about it.
the onboard sensor for low power
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth low energy applications.
Okay, definitely cannot see it, but in short,
Yeah.
the whole thing is because there's no onboard sensor onboard
Mhm.
sensor. That's the whole thing, really, which is very cheaper. It's the same technology. This is the same processor actually.
Yeah. And
So yeah,
because there are no sensors, so there's no need to power all of these extra things. That's why you
correct,
can do it low power, right? So it's
correct.
a lot easier to control power. In the milliamps, when you're playing with
Yeah,
low power, you're playing with milliamps and even nanoamps for sleep applications. So
correct.
that's good. But we'll see. We'll see if this particular layout by Xiao is actually good for low power. Because it depends on
Correct.
how they did it. Like the ESP32 ones are notorious for like the cheap ones, right? The Liligo or
Yeah,
all of these things.
yeah,
They're notorious for making it so that it's very difficult to do low power because you have like all of these LEDs. The
hmm
resistors are like eating power or sipping power
correct.
away. So let's see how this works. Like, let's see how
Yes.
they design the package.
So with that said, expect the. Oh yeah, by the way, if you guys want the Xiao and all that, DigiKey have it. So
So
let
the
me
only
mention.
thing here is because you have to pay shipping if, and it's I think it's $25 shipping or something. I
Yeah,
forgot what the GT ships because I haven't paid shipping because if you want to pay if you want free shipping, then
yeah,
you have to order at least $50 or above. So I think it's about 200 ringgit or something,
yeah,
right? So
precisely.
and I've never paid for shipping from DGT because I just like collect all of the things I wanted to buy and then
Yep.
just order it once. And they use
Yes.
US UPS, so you have like tracking numbers and all of these things, and
Yep.
they call you before, and then they make you sign something, so you're sure to receive stuff from DigiKey. That's why I buy from them if it's not available from Citron.
Yep. So okay, this one can only do Arduino. Just double checking.
But the
So
thing, so the problem here is that when like you have to check
mhm,
the stock. Like for example,
yes,
the Cduino Xiao only has 8 in stock, and the
correct.
lead time is 16 weeks. So that's like
Yep.
what 4 months? So 3 months.
Yes.
Wait, 16 is divided by 4 is 4, like 4 months
Yep.
of lead time. So that means you have to
Correct.
wait until it has stock again. So
Yes.
you have to hurry up, or at least like no buy as much as you need if you don't want to like get hit with that lead time.
Correct. So it's happening around the world nowadays, and it's still happening. You would thought it would be better, but China had been tightening again. So oh well.
It's good
So
that they
yeah.
got this out, right? Like we got
Yes,
actually got
precisely.
our chips.
Correct. So yeah, I will expect that coming shots later, maybe next week or so. So yeah, uh, more to come, more to come. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, now
So
I
anything
will
on your side?
share
Mm-hmm.
my screen. Well, not my screen, but my. Is it I think it's sleeping. Wait, let me just
I might stop my
turn
cam a
off the
bit.
thing. Yeah, so I'll be back. So you mean you have to talk for a bit.
I'm still around, just off my cam. No, swimming, you're muted.
So here's the thing about buying electronics for hobbies. Get your friends to buy together. Uh, then you may have to figure out the taxes and all that. The
But
reason is at least you can
unless you
at
buy
least you can
books, books is
yeah,
tax free.
yes, books is tax free unless you buy porn, but that's another story altogether. It's not
Good luck at you.
taxable, but yeah, you might just lost it in between because it's confiscated. So yeah.
So remember when we were, well, if you're in the Slack channel, we were talking
Yep.
about that 2.5 gigabit per second Jasper Lake uh, Intel 11th generation router or something. So I have
Yep.
it already set up. It's an actual PC. It doesn't, so it's fanless. Where's the?
Mm-hmm.
Let me log into Lazada and then.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, can you log into Lazada and then search for N5105? So this is an N5105. So I don't know what else you want
And five one
to.
oh five. And five
Uh,
one oh five. PC. Okay, found your. Let me share my tab.
yeah, share your tab and then I'll tell you which one it is.
La la la. Chrome tab. Da,
Actually,
da.
maybe I can find it
This
here.
one. This one.
Not this one. No, 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 no. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
If you continue sharing my screen, it's this one.
Ah. Okay.
So we have this. So we bought this. Well, I bought it. It's set up on the. That's why I had to go away because it
The
was
price
sleeping.
looks good.
Yeah, it's
It's actually
actually small.
cheaper. It's cheaper than. It's actually more powerful and much cheaper than multiple Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the point.
and it's just double the size of a Raspberry Pi. Like in width.
Yes.
So it's in height. So in width,
What is the
it's
power
it's
rating? I
not bad.
actually didn't check it out.
This is I think 20 watts or something. So the it came with a 12-volt 2 amp um uh, what do you call this power adapter. So 12 volts 2 amps, so it's 24 watts, and most likely it's like beyond. So this is I guess 10 15
Mm-hmm.
watt. Of course it fluctuates depending on the USB devices that you put. If you put a
Mm-hmm.
mechanical hard drive, it's even going to be worse. But yeah, so this is how it is. It has four of these 2.5 gig adapters. So I'm using one right now, but unfortunately my switch is only 1 gigabit. So that's the thing that you need to eventually upgrade, right? Like your switches are limited to 1 gig, so you need a 2.5 gig. What do you call this switch so that you actually have
Yep.
2.5 gigs everywhere. It's fanless. So here's the thing. The problem here is that if you use an SSD for the NVMe, uh, it's going to heat up a lot if you're using it as an operating system.
Right.
Uh, so because there's no fan inside, so it's going to be like I think I reached up to. Did I save some of the measurements here? Here. So I have like this is after Cinebench was running. Um, you'll see that the temperatures of the CPU are not bad.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is the maximum, right? 75
70. Yeah.
for the
Mm.
CPU because the CPU is like directly contacting the chassis, and it's
Right.
like even if it's fanless because of the fins of the basically the whole chassis is your heatsink, so any kind of airflow around is good. The problem is I don't have a screenshot I think of the SSD, but it was around like 50 60 for the chips, and the ASIC is like 92. So it's really, really, really hot because if you're doing a lot of that was after like I was copying files into the SSD, and if you're doing operations on the SSD, you shouldn't use a fanless model because it's really going to
Right.
be, or at least put a heatsink on the SSD and have um, like open up one of the sides because it's all closed, all enclosed. Even if your heatsink has a fan on it, there's no airflow at all, so it's not going
Right.
to do anything. You're just like pushing hot air around, so it's not
Yep.
the temperatures are not going to be a problem. So this is the Cinebench results. You'll see it's half. So it's half the cores of an 11th Gen 1165 G7, but it's half the performance. And this is the thing about 11th gen, right? It's really, really uh, good enough that it can go toe to toe with an i7. It's just
Yep.
because it doesn't have hyper threading, and it's quite good to like. This is double, I think, the performance of previous gen, like the Jasper Lake, the popular ones, the 10th gen Jasper Lake 4125. I think it's the N, no, the J, was it the J4125? I forgot the uh, the code names, but yeah, the Jasper Lake and Gemini Lakes are. Sorry, was it Gemini Lake? Yeah, the Gemini Lake. This
I
generation of
lost track
Jasper.
of the code name. I lost
Okay,
Yeah,
track of
Gemini
the
so
Lake
code
many
is
name
the
on
lakes.
the.
previous one. Jasper Lake is the current one. Gemini Lake is the previous one, the
Yeah.
4125. And just one generation, it made like a huge difference, especially for low power devices. So I have, yeah, this is the system itself. I'm using sharing, like I'm using Parsec. I'm not sure if it doesn't show up, but this is called Parsec. So I'm uh, basically it's on the other side of the room, but it's running there, and this is doing screen sharing almost, something like that.
Hmm.
So if you have anything that you want to run on here, like I only have Cinebench on the installed. If you want hardware info, I guess. So if you wanted me to try out any kind of benchmarks or something, then um, if you're interested, then I can
Can it
run it
run
right now.
Crisis?
Probably. I don't
Actually,
know if it can run
nowadays,
Cyberpunk.
yeah, nowadays
Yeah.
it's Cyberpunk, right? Yes.
Yeah. So it probably has XMP even. So, but I
Yep.
don't know if I, because I didn't go through the BIOS setup that much. But I think it has it enabled because this is a 2666 CL19 by default, right?
Right.
But it looks like the timing is at CL15, which is actually quite good for a 2666 memory module. And this is a SODIMM.
Hmm.
So this is probably oh, okay now. So it changes depending on the clock. So see, it went to 19 and then 15. So it depends on the thing. So it's doing something with the memory. One caveat here, you'll see NVMe is only 2 lanes, which I think is good because you don't want a full 4 lanes on this because you'll toast your SSD if you do
Yep.
full 4 lanes of bandwidth. Because again, there's no fan, there's no
Yes.
airflow at all. It's all sealed. There are like screws everywhere, but once you screw it, everything is sealed. It's not
So
waterproof, but it's sealed.
it's
There's
not really
basically no
meant
air.
for something that is involve heavy IO.
Yes, for the SSD, yeah. For the If you're using a 2.5 inch drive, it can be SSD. For the NVMe M2.2, no, but for that kind of drive, probably because that's only like 500 megabytes per second on transfer, and it's not going to be that hot. So that's probably because that has a SATA inside as well. What I'm planning to do though is because I have an M.2 uh, NVMe to SATA adapter, and it's just that because it's all sealed, I don't have a way for the wires to go through without removing one of the covers. But I think I'll do it like that, so it can be like some sort of a NAS or something. So a low
Right.
powered NAS for that. But so those are the devices. So you have this. It's a Jasper Lake. It has some what do you call this, video capabilities. It's not that so you'll see here it's encoding H.264 natively. Parsec only runs if you have an encoder and a GPU involved. So this is enough. It's not like, for example, the 6500 XT or the 6400 Radeon GPUs, which does not have an encoder, so you can't run that Parsec. You can't even run a lot of encoding tasks on that, but this one you can. Your
Hmm.
CPU is of course like N5105. You have This is the memory that I installed, 2 sets of 8 gigs of RAM.
I have some I have some
Hmm.
really big heatsink from
Yeah,
some of my old hardware that could be useful. Even the Raspberry Pi 4 can get really hot.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true. It's
I actually
ridiculous
I actually put
nowadays.
it on top of actually another bigger heatsink than this.
Mm. What I don't know though, so I haven't done any perf for the, because I only have one 2.5 gig NIC, which is this computer, which is like part of the motherboard, and then you have the other one, right? But I don't know what the performance is if you have all four simultaneously, right? Like, can this handle four simultaneous 2.5 gig up and down, and for the processor, like doing probably on OPN sense or something, like even just doing
Yeah.
a perf iperf on this. I haven't done it just because I don't have the hardware to do 2.5 gigs
Right.
back to back. Probably can do
Okay.
one, but yeah, I mean the reason people will buy this is for the four 2.5 gig controller, right? So yeah,
Right.
if you go to the sensors, yeah, you'll see. I think the drive is already, like, it's already at 45 and 51, right? This is already very high. So you want to have it at, like, at least like 40 even. But
Mhm.
if you exceed like 55, then that's already like very high, and it's a problem for this. So most likely I'm going to remove the SSD for the M.2 SSD for this, because it's too, like, you just can't cool it properly.
Right.
And I'll get the, I'll just buy a 128 gig 2.5 inch SSD just for the, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
so
what
that's the thing. That's the system.
what you can use this for mostly as a router only?
Well, that's the primary use case. It's fanless,
Ah,
and it's no. So there's no, what do you call this? It doesn't have any sound, right? So you could just
right.
leave it there. But that's the
Okay.
primary use case for, like, the reason why this is. Where's my history, by the way? Anyway,
Yep.
let's open that page again. So N5105.
Is it
N5105 is
shipped
the
from
CPU.
overseas?
It was shipped from overseas. It took about 2 weeks to arrive.
Oh, and you didn't get
Not
taxed.
bad.
Sorry?
And you didn't get taxed for it.
No, because from Lazada, they do the taxes for you.
Okay.
Right.
Like, it's
Interesting.
part of the shipping, I guess. So
Yep.
this is how they market it, right? It's a 2.5 G router with and then you probably run pfSense or OpenSense for the uh, for it's a firewall system, pfSense, OpenSense. Of course, you can
Yep.
also run something like a hypervisor like Proxmox, or you can install Ubuntu and then run what do you call this, uh, like pass through the
Yep.
controllers uh, to a QEMU operating system. So you can do it like
Mm-hmm.
that as well. But people, I think the use case here is really just an OPN sense. It's very, well, it's heavy because of the aluminum chassis, but it's small
Yep.
enough so you can just leave it like that. It does 12 volt.
Yeah. Most of the
So
builds are fanless,
yeah,
from what I see.
so this is
Nice.
not bad. Yeah, like I was saying, like this is the previous one, Gemini Lake. 10
Mm-hmm.
nanometer is like, uh, it's a really good jump.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, it's true. It's connected to a 4K monitor right now, 60 hertz. So it's not bad. Like it can drive my monitor outside a 4K 60 hertz. So I don't know if it's good to use this particular system as an HTPC, because again,
Right.
the IO is going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
The and also the lack of fan.
Yeah, the fan, the,
Yes.
the fan thing is like really a problem. So here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to. I should probably try it out. I don't know if it can do 64 gig, because the N5105 at Intel's Arc. So by the way, if you don't know what the Arc is, it's Intel's database of all of its processors. So the Arc uh, shows that its maximum memory is 16 gigs. So I don't know why it says here 64 gigs. but the ARC says that you can only do 16 gigs of
Mm-hmm.
2933 megahertz RAM. Um,
Right.
but it does it. This one says it's 32 gigahertz. Sorry, 3.2 gigahertz and then 64 gigs. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but yeah, this
Okay.
is how it is.
60. Okay. Okay. I get it.
Oh yeah,
So
it has a SIM
below.
card slot, but it doesn't have the card, the 4G card. So
Yeah.
I mean, but it has a SIM card slot. But
Is it
you probably
compatible though?
well, you don't have the card, so you can't use it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Precisely.
So you
Okay.
have to buy the
Cool.
card. I don't know if anyone else is selling it for the Malaysian, um, like
A
wireless,
bit. A
uh,
bit unlikely, but
but it has.
yeah.
So if you, I mean, if you go somewhere, then
Yes.
it's up to you. Yeah, it
Right.
had. So these things, so it didn't come with the antenna, but you can probably buy some antennas here and then route that, like, because it's somewhere here, you can route it
Yep.
over there or the thing. So yeah, that is the router. That's how it looks like inside.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is the NVMe. This is the SATA. So you have SATA power, and then you have your SATA connection, and then here. So again, when you close this, it's all
Mm-hmm.
enclosed. No fan. No, although there is a fan header. This is a fan header, but this particular unit does not have any openings. So I am guessing you can put a fan, and then if you drill a hole here, or like a mesh or something, then you can maybe cool something. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this one is like sealed like this.
Right.
Yeah,
So
or just cool the outside the casing.
yeah, but the problem is the NVM, the M.2 does not have
Yeah,
any contact with the chassis.
yeah,
So
that's
still a pro. I mean, unless you have a very thick, what do you call, like this, like an inch thick of thermal pad, then you can. But yeah, it doesn't, because it sits here, and so to reach, like, sorry, because the CPU is here, right, on the top, on the top side. This is the bottom. You have to reach all the way to the bottom, and
yeah.
unless you have that, then
It's
yeah,
pretty
it's not going to.
much like for CPU purposes only.
It's yeah, for if for purposes where you don't need I/O, like let's say you have VMware, right, and your storage is network storage, so you can do it
Mm-hmm.
like that. So you just run the application on this, and then the storage is somewhere else. Oh yeah, yeah, like the router thing. Unraid is also good. That's what I'm trying to repurpose it for. So I'll run
Mm,
Unraid, and then I'll have that five SATA to NVMe adapter, and then just like move because I have the how do you say it, the drive cage that's
mm-hmm.
outside, that can handle all of those 3.5-inch hard disk drives, so you can do it like that.
Right. So it's
That
still
virtualization.
possible. It's still possible to use it as a storage lah, remote storage lah.
Yeah, if you put like NVMe to SATA adapters here.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
the SIM card, and this is the non-existent, how do you say, um, 4G card. So it doesn't have this, like, it didn't come with
Mm-hmm.
a 4G card. Yep, that is
Cool.
the device.
If I
It's
have
good
space at
to.
home. Uh huh.
It's very small, so it's not about the space. It's just a bit expensive because it's a
It's
thousand
just
ringgit.
my
Yeah,
concern is the cooling. If I'm gonna
yeah.
use it for, I mean, if I'm gonna host like what we call home lab these days, we call
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
our little
Yes.
server at home. Yeah,
Yep.
that might
Yeah,
be an issue because of the I/O heat.
Yes.
yeah. You will probably need to DIY something
Yeah,
for the bottom panel,
probably have
because
to
it's just
butcher the
aluminum.
cake.
Yeah, the case. Or you can just not use this and probably do some like perspex or like acrylic here, or like some cardboard or some wood, right? It's not that big anyway. So you can have something like MDF. Well, probably not MDF because of the dust, but
Yep.
like some wood or acrylic or perspex or something,
Mhm.
and just do it like that. Or if you have a 3D printer, of course, you can do that too. Then have that here, and then have whatever holes you need or whatever like things that you want to change. Uh, Not just the bottom, but this is also removable, and the other side as well. So although the other side is like populated with this one, so I would recommend that you just replace this one instead, like
Right.
the front panel, because this can be removed as well. This can be removed, this can be removed, and the back panel can be removed as well. So if you need to like thread wires through, or like put a small fan here, I don't know,
Mhm.
like the Raspberry Pi fans, for example, right? You can put it here just for airflow, and you can probably
Yep.
like
The,
exhaust, so it's a negative pressure thing.
right. The joy of PC computing. That being said, it's 11 already. It's a very cool project. I'm considering it one day. Once I find a spot,
You should
I can
try
put also.
the
Uh-huh.
mini PCs. I think if you're going to experiment, like these ones, or actually, I would suggest this one instead. Like
Right.
this. There are some YouTube videos of this. If you search for
Yep.
N5105, let's see.
Yep.
Let's go to YouTube quickly before we say
Mm-hmm.
goodbye, and
Yep.
then you search for N5105,
Mm-hmm.
like this one, the more refined, for
Yep.
example. This is
Yep.
this is a good explanation. I would suggest this because this has like two SSDs. This has a fan.
Yep.
Um, has like enough USB ports. Has
Yep.
2.5 gigs. So if you don't
Mm-hmm.
need the four, although you have to buy it with the memory. So the memory is soldered. So you
Right.
have to buy it with 16
Okay.
gigs. So this is
All
the
right.
uh, like what is the 16 plus 0. So this is the price for 16 plus 0. Basically without the
Yep.
storage, because you can just buy it elsewhere. But the RAM, you
Right.
have to buy it with the RAM because it's
Okay.
soldered.
Right.
Mhm.
Got it. Fun. I should try that. More toys. So okay, with that
I
said,
probably wouldn't buy from this person though. It's a bit dodgy.
okay.
So that's the
All
thing
right.
about buying all of these things. You can probably start more
Yes.
refined.
Correct. So with that said, anything else? If not, I'm going to say
Oh,
goodbye and all that. So with that said, thanks for listening. For some of you guys that actually still on holiday, well, have fun along the way. Uh, for others, well, get back to work already. So and yeah, have fun along the way. Thanks for listening and goodbye. I think
bye. See you again next week.
Right.
yes,
Have a good week.
yep, and we'll press